a monster.
TrustFire Mini X3, the light that can do it all. Crazy bright, ergonomic, and it doesn't stand tall. Laser and UV to spot counterfeit money. Detect semen and urine for the hotel room that you're in. Such a premium light, it's hard to believe. Luxurious design, yet price of the sea. Powerful spotlight shines so bright. So many lumens. So many lumens. TrustFire Mini X3, the light that can do all. Crazy bright, ergonomic, and it doesn't stand tall. Laser and UV to spot counterfeit money. So many lumens. So many lumens.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jim, and if you're about all things EDC, flashlights, knives, guns, accessories, this is going to be the channel for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool flat-bodied flashlight called the TrustFire Mini X3. And first we're going to start off by doing a quick unboxing. I'd like to do this as quickly as humanly possible and give you an idea of what the light is going to come with, and then we'll make our way into the actual review. First things first, this is pretty unique packaging. You've got like a little safety button here that prevents the box from being opened unintentionally. And I've never seen that before. That's pretty interesting. This is the first TrustFire light that I've had a chance to play with or experience on any level. And this was sent to me for the purposes of review. Thank you to TrustFire for contacting me and sending this out because I am really, really digging this light. Okay, let's start things off here.
TrustFire Mini X3, the ultimate tool. For all your lighting needs, it's just too cool. Warm and sexy floodlight on the side. No need to hide from the darkness, it's your guide.
Okay, here we go. Now, the flat body light market segment is growing rapidly, and some may even say that it's a bit overcrowded at this point. But this one stands out by being a classier, more elegant entry, in my opinion. The finishing, the colors they've chosen, the bezels, the way that they're finished, they're polished and they're plated. This one stands out as being something pretty luxurious in comparison to, let's say, like my Olight here. This is the Arcfeld Pro. For those with a keen eye, yes, this is different than the one that I had before. I had the Dragon, and I actually, the racing stripe version came out after I got my Dragon, and I went, this is so much more me, and I was able to find somebody in an Olight group that did an even trade with me, and I was very thankful for that. And I dig it. I totally love it. I've been using my other Arcfeld Pro, the Dragon, for a while, and the feature set in it is fantastic. And until this TrustFire came out, this was the only one that had that feature set where you had the white light, you had the laser, and you had UV. Now you've got that here in a smaller and slimmer package, and I think that's a very important thing to bring up. It is more ergonomic with the curved sides. It is smaller, it is thinner, and it's just a tiny bit lighter weight. And then, of course, you have the one that started it all for me, which is the EDC 27. This is a monster 3,000 lumen flat-bodied light that I love. I've carried this a lot. I've enjoyed this light a lot. but there's something quite a bit different and quite a bit more special about how this one feels and how it looks. Plus, you have a completely different operation here. You have separate light sources, which I think people are going to find very, very handy, because there are a lot of people that buy 90-degree lights, which are flashlights that you would hold like this that have a light coming out down this way. And if you're one of those people, I think that you're probably going to dig this a lot, because you're not going to have to carry around two different lights to get that. So if you're going to use this as, let's say, a reading source, so we could put this down here, I suppose, as if we were reading it, and you had this there on the table. Look how warm that light is, too. It's gorgeous. If you were that type of person, but you're like, oh, yeah, but I really need to have something to go walking around the campground or whatever it is, well, now you've got that all in one light. And I think this is going to make a lot of people really, really happy. Let me go ahead and shut this off. Get the box out of the way. Now, you do have other alternatives, and I want to make sure that you're not misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that this is the only light in the world that's going to give you both. One of my personal favorites, I haven't had it that long, but this is my Mini X3. Here is a light that you can swivel the head. So I've got the capability of carrying around like an EDC light. I can stand it up. This is not the best surface because I have leather on here. Again, going back to flat lights, here's another flat light. Here's my Mini X2, another one that I carry and really, really enjoy. And let's get them off of the clips so that you get a real idea of the body thickness. This is thinner than both by a good margin. Yes, it's a little bit longer, but it will take up less room in the pocket because it's not as wide. These are quite wide. This is a little brick, and it is quite wide in the pocket. Not enough to be problematic, but if you like carrying a slimmer light, this is going to be the clear and easy choice for you. Another thing that I really like about the way this one has been set up is the main button here. I really like the soft touch feel of that rubber button. And the UI, by the way, is pretty simple. Let's go ahead and go through that right now so that you understand. This is going to be different than a lot of other flashlights UI. If this ends up being like your main light, or maybe it's the only light you're going to carry, then you're not going to find it bothersome at all. If you're used to using a lot of different flashlights, you're kind of used to a certain system, more or less. And this is going to be kind of the opposite of that. So, first off, you're going to have this unique feature, which is the side switch. And the side switch gets you access to whichever light you want. If you want the floodlight, if you want the, I think that's the floodlight on right there. Yep, okay. So there is your floodlight. There is your spotlight, which is the front light, and your laser. So that's going to select which of the lights you can have access to. Now, you don't have to touch that anymore. Now it's all going to be up to the main button. Now, instead of pushing and holding to cycle through the modes, you're just going to simply push. And you'll go through your low, medium, and high on your floodlight, on your spotlight or your front light. Let me go ahead and zoom that back out. So right now I have it on low, medium, high, and I think they call it extra high or super high. It's what we would normally call turbo, but you don't have to double tap to access it. It's part of the standard steps in the modes. So you're used to a lot of lights where you have to push and hold, and that cycles through. You don't have to do that here. You're just going to push, and that's it. Now, what if you want to get to the UV mode? Well, good question. First off, I'm going to turn this off. So you're going to push, hold, and keep holding, and it's going to switch from the white light to the UV. I don't have anything that's UV reactive in front of me, do I? Well, let's change that. Let's take a little bit of a break for a second. Okay. He's going to be quite UV reactive. Little killer clowns action. Now, to charge up some glowy in the dark stuff, this is my Immolent BL50 that was customized with a ton of glow options. And when I turn that off, we see that everything is glowing nicely. Now, there's not a huge array of lights out there that give you the option of standard white light and UV. This is one of them, but this is more expensive than this one is. And I think it's important that we talk about the price as well. And I don't really like to harp on price too much because that shouldn't be your main deciding factor when you're looking at buying something of quality. But this is $79. Keep in mind that the ArcFeld Pro is usually $89. EDC 27 is around $89. Wubin X2, I won't even get into it, substantially more money, and this, the X3, is more money. This is one of the best values. It's one of the easiest to carry. It's only 4 inches, so it disappears in my hand, and it disappears in your pocket. It's very, very comfortable, and you've got pretty darn good performance. Let's talk about that. Your low is going to be, I'm going to talk about the main light here. So let's put that back in the middle. Turn that back on. Your low is 3.5 lumens. Your medium is 55 lumens. Your high is 215 lumens. And your super high is 1050. Did I not go in the right order? Yeah, because you couldn't see the low. I didn't realize the low was on. So there's the low at 3.5, medium at 55, high at 215, and turbo at 1050. My apologies for messing that up. Now you might be thinking, well, 1,050 lumens, that's a lot of lumens for such a tiny little light. Is it going to overheat? I'll be honest with you, for as long as I played with this, it's just gotten warm. It hasn't gotten ridiculously hot. It steps down from the 1050 to the 215 after about 2 minutes, which is actually really good for a small light like this to run for more than 30 seconds. I have lights that are substantially larger in diameter and length and everything else that kick down in 30 seconds. This takes about 2 minutes, in my experience, to drop down from the 1050 to the 215. And it's got a fair to moderate throw, 128 meters. It's nothing to laugh at. Again, you're holding a little tiny 4-inch light. This is not a major, oops, helps if you turn it on the proper way. This is not a superstar performer of a light. This is a small, compact light that you could carry every single day without having to worry about it being a burden. So I dig that. Now, I've had zero problems carrying my ArcFeld Pros. I think they're fantastic. They're still a really good size. This is a better size. The EDC 27 is significantly larger, and I feel safer with this. This button I need to depress and go and hold down, and I've got to do it. Hold on a second. Let me get out of the UV mode. And I have to go far below the flat line of the body to turn it on. So the likelihood of this turning on in my pocket is very, very low. And if I was that worried about it, I could kick it on laser. The laser isn't going to hurt anything. It's not going to generate any heat. It's not going to burn through my leg. And that's it. And there's no, I was hoping there was kind of a halfway point. No, there isn't. So you really are on one of the three. Now let's talk about the warmth on this. I'll give you all the other specs as well. Let's get some of this clutter off the table here. Boy, I like this floodlight a lot. And again, it's another thing that you can clip onto your backpack strap or whatever it is that you're carrying and have this pointing out in front of you so that you can see where you're going. Specs you're looking at on the front light, 1050 max lumens with 128 meters of throw. The UV is listed at 900 milliwatts. Is that a lot? I don't know. I think that's about what the ArcFeld Pro is. I'm not sure. I'm not a UV light expert in any way, shape, or form. And the green laser is a Class 3R laser. I don't know what the temperature is on the front light because they don't list it. I was really hoping. But to my eye, this looks 5,000 to 5,500 K. I could be wrong. I'm not a scientific instrument. But I know when I switch over to this one, oops, turn it back on. It is a significant difference. I mean, look at that. From that to that. That is a beautiful, rosy, warm color. That is a 4000K. They do list that on their website. And yeah, I'm going to say it's between 5 and 5,500K. Now, if you're using the flood, the max on that is 303 lumens, which is respectable. It's totally fine. And again, the length on this is 4 inches. And the thickness, just over a half an inch. 620 thou thick, 0.62 of an inch. And then again, the curved sides are what make the biggest difference for me ergonomics-wise. The pocket clip does create a hot spot. I would have preferred a more standard clip instead of it being doubled back. This, I guess, could be light enough to put on the bill of your baseball cap if you wanted to do that. That's why they generally double back on the clips like this. S-clips are fine for most everything, but I would have liked to have had something a little bit flatter because this light is so comfortable and so well thought out in every respect that it's kind of a shame that they kind of lose it there with the pocket clip. But it is nice. It's a nice, beautiful kind of a bronze color. They call this color choice, by the way, desert yellow. It's not yellow in any way, but it is a desert tan or an FDE or a copper or that type of coloration, if you will. And I really dig that. There are not enough lights made today in this colorway. Now, for me, you guys know from watching my other videos, I am a gun guy, and I like to have that flexibility in my gun collection as well. And while that may not apply to you, you may not be into the same things that I am, I like to have a little bit of matchy-matchy. It definitely matches the SIG Spectre comp better than it does the 509 Tactical. But that's the cool thing about FN. They call everything FDE. No matter how many different pitches of color it is, it's like a wonderful patchwork of tan. So yeah, this is much more of a coyote brown or FDE or bronze or copper. There's a lot of different colorations you could call this, but none of those I think fall under the category of yellow. When I see yellow, I think more like this, goldish yellow. There's a yellow there. I want to call it goldenrod if you're getting all fancy and specific, but yeah, I don't see yellow in this at all. And the only other light that I have owned that even comes close is this big old Ace Beam. I love this light. I think it's fantastic. They're two different worlds. This is going to be a lot more comfortable to carry. This was not meant to be a competition between the two, but this is much easier to carry, and you have much more versatility between the UV, the laser, the spotlight, and the floodlight, and having a high CRI floodlight, which is going to be a big deal to a lot of people. So, all in all, I think if I had to pit all of my various flat lights against one another, among these three, I honestly, truly think this one's a little bit nicer. Yes, this is a ridiculous powerhouse at 3,000 lumens. It's crazy. And this is kind of the OG for the many, many multiple functions in one flat light. But I do like the ergonomics of this, and I like the luxury look and feel of this. By the way, it does have a magnetic tail cap, just like the Olight does. And I like having the flood back there. I really don't even know why. I'm not the kind that really is going to prop my light up and have it in my tent as I'm reading. But you know what? Possibly. If I ever needed to, I know that's the one that would go with me to the campsite. Comparing it now with these, it's a little bit more difficult. I think this, being significantly more powerful, may find a lot more use. And this one, with its swivel head and the fact that it has the red light in there as well, which I have already... There we go. I like the features that are on this. They each have a place in my collection for a reason. And I'm very, very stoked to have this one now. And for those that have not followed me for the past 12 years throughout my knife reviews and everything else, I'm not going to review something that I don't find impressive to some degree or of high quality. If you reach out to me and say, hey, I make this product and I'd love for you to review it and give me your honest feedback, I'm more than happy to accept it. And if it's junk, I'm going to send you a private video and go, here are the things that I would change. Here's why it's not ready for prime time. But if you guys see it uploaded to my channel, there's a reason for it. It is a good quality product that has impressed me in some way. Maybe it's the aesthetics, maybe it's the performance, maybe it's a well-rounded balance of everything, and that's what this light is. I love the aesthetics. I love the more luxury nature of it over the raw tactical look of this one and over the sportier look of... Really, can flashlights be sporty? Yeah, whatever. Of this one, I really like it. I think it's sexy looking. I love the feel in the hand. I love the rubber switch. I love the fact that it's very easy to switch in between modes. All the way around, to me, it's a winner. And for $80, by the way, they constantly have sales going on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link down in the description below. You can click on that, go straight to them, and purchase what you'd like to purchase, whether it's this light or another TrustFire. And I even have a code, which I'm putting on the screen right now. That way, you get to save money. You get to save money. They throw me a couple of bucks. Doesn't cost you an extra penny. It all works out in the end for everybody. So I think it's a nice gesture. So thank you to TrustFire for that. I think that was super generous. Right now, we're going to go outside. We're going to play with the light, and we're going to see just exactly how it performs and if it's going to suit your needs. All right, here we go. Now, what I'm starting to do is do voiceovers on this section because it's so annoying hearing all the crickets and the insects and the cars going down the main road. It's just much easier to do it this way. So we're going to take a look at the TrustFire here out in the dark. Once I establish what the beam pattern looks like, then we're going to do a comparison directly against the ArcFeld Pro. So if you're trying to decide between the two different lights, you'll get a better idea of how they actually perform. So here I went from low to medium, and it's kind of hard to see. And in high, you start to see light a little bit more. Now, when you go to the ultra bright mode, this thing does a really, really good job of illuminating a nice broad area and giving you a decent amount of throw. So you're not just lighting up the immediate area around you, but you can actually see a little bit into the distance, making it, in my opinion, a very practical walking light. If you're out in the woods, you're out in a somewhat unfamiliar area possibly, you're less likely to have things surprise you as you approach them because you will have seen those things a little ways off. So as you see, there's a nice, very clean beam. It's not a very strong circular hotspot. There is obviously a concentrated lit area, but it goes very softly into the spill. So it's not a harsh drop from one to the next and then to the cutoff. It's very easy to use. Wonderful illumination. The ultra bright is really fantastic, and the fact that it's going to last a good amount of time makes it pretty darn useful. And as I mentioned in the tabletop review, it doesn't get so hot that it's unbearable to hold. It gets warm, but in my experience so far, it hasn't gotten uncomfortably warm. Now, as you see walking along with me, the low mode is actually pretty useful. If you're trying to look at something at a distance, like when I was trying to throw the beam shot over the camera in low and medium, yeah, there's no real distance to it because you don't have that power behind it. But as you're walking along, it's great. Now let's take a look at how the floodlight performs, which is the light that's on the back side of the body. As previously mentioned, it is a beautiful, rosy, warm 4000K. Not only does it look really, really good, but it's not altering colors very much. So you've got a high CRI. Not only are you going to see colors more relatively true than with the front light, but also your depth of field is going to be more perceptible as well. When you get into brighter white going into bluish lights, it can kind of make things look flat, but these warmer lights allow you to see the depth a little bit easier, just easier on the eyes, I guess. As you see, walking around with high is perfectly acceptable. Look at the large area in front of me there. Look at how much it's lit. And this is just me simply forgetting that, yes, the UI is very simple to use standalone. But when you're used to using other lights, you will tend to forget, no, I don't have to hold it down to go from low, medium to high. I have to individually click. So that's just me being dumb. Here is the laser. I mean, it's not really much that you can show off here at night because the camera doesn't want to focus far away when it's dark. But you can see it is illuminating even the house across the street very, very well. I'm not a big laser user, so my opinion on that isn't all that important. Now, I feel that a lot of people are going to be comparing these two when they're looking online to see which they want to purchase. So I love Olight, don't get me wrong. I think they're wonderfully innovative. I think the Arcfeld Pro is a really cool light. And that's not to take anything away from it, but it just doesn't have the power. Even though the Mini X3 is a smaller light, it's more of a powerhouse than the Olight. When we put these things head to head, I think it really shows the startling, really, difference between them. There again, the Arcfeld Pro in turbo. Now we'll move over here to the Mini X3. Come on, turn it on. There we go. Now, again, the low, trying to shoot it over the camera onto the ground, it's not that effective. Once we get to high, you start to see a big difference, and then the ultra bright. Now, remember what it looked like in the turbo on the Arcfeld Pro. Comparing it to the ultra bright on the Mini X3. It's a significant difference. I can't say night and day because that sounds a little bit like I'm exaggerating, but it is a remarkable difference. There again, there's that side-to-side difference. Arcfeld Pro right there, Mini X3 right there. Which would you rather have? I'll leave that up to you. I just want to thank you guys, as always, for joining me. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider subscribing. Come back, check out both of my channels, my knife channel as well as my A to Z EDC channel for more content.